Hare Krishna. Good evening and welcome. I see there's more bodies out there moving around. I presume they're coming in here. Anyway, busy weekend for the devotees, yes?
Yes.
Very nice weekend. Tomorrow is Sri Krishna Janmashtami, the appearance day of Krishna. Sunday is the appearance day of our beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Used to be my favourite day, actually. At the manor anyway, because the food was always the best. The prasadam was wonderful. Yes? Don't get to the manor these days. Get a bit old and gets a bit sort of too busy now, unfortunately. But always was a wonderful day. So it's a wonderful weekend, actually, very ecstatic weekend. And I'm very grateful to all of you who are putting in an effort to do something this weekend, actually, to celebrate in Rochester around this, for this Sangha particularly, and it's really pleasing, isn't it, that these things are going on. So from the bottom of my heart, I have a lot of gratitude for that. I'm sure that Srila Prabhupada is very pleased as well for all your efforts, help and assistance. So, I'll have a lovely weekend. You're getting a sweat up down there. We've been chanting just to hear a little bit. Again, from the book that I'm reading at the moment, which is a very nice book called Harinam Cintamani by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is a very nice book to read. I'll just read a little bit from that because I've been reading this. It's about chanting. From chapter 11. The scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, known as the Vedas, have declared unequivocally the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna to be the only subject and object of research, and the process to find him has likewise been clearly indicated. According to the individual researcher's ability, this singular process has become many, thus different paths. There are mainly three different paths to finding Krishna, experiencing Krishna. These different paths, like karma, jnana and bhakti, have sprung up. Those who are engrossed in materialism are recommended to pursue the path of karma yoga for the purification of their consciousness. For souls deluded by the illusion of Maya, the suggested path is cultivation of mystic philosophy, and the rest of the jivas, pure devotional service is most suitable. Persons absorbed in material life begin to worship the Supreme Lord out of fear of death. Normally that's the case, isn't it? I don't believe in God until you're just about to die, right? Or was it that statement that, there are no atheists in a foxhole, isn't it? Is that the statement? There's no in the trenches. When it came to that point, but if you're there, yes? So this atheism is really a nonsense, right, actually, when you really examine it. Everybody, even though they might think they know better, don't, and they're always going to surrender at the point of death. Help me. I don't know, if they're struggling or if they're in problems, it's always then, if you're there, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. The lotus feet are the perfect shelter. The Lord's lotus feet, free from anxiety, they are the only means to cross over the unlimited notion of nescience. But when the process to obtain the protection of the Lord becomes coloured by material motives, it becomes mundane. Even though the Lord is being worshipped, because the process of worship is mundane, it is known as pious activity or shubha karma. Shubha karma includes altruistic works, sacrifices, ablutions, holy baths, fire sacrifices, charity work, yoga, the practice of anashram dharma, pilgrimages, vows, offerings to the forefathers, meditation, cultivation of empirical knowledge, propitiation of demigods, penances, austerities, etc. All these activities are on the mundane platform. It's a very interesting point to remember that all them activities, worship of demigods, meditation, cultivation of knowledge, all on the mundane platform. Yes. Gradually, through this mundane process, the performer obtains the goal of all his performances, the Supreme Lord. At this juncture, he abandons the temporary mundane process. He is not attracted to its material ways, for now he knows the genuine essence of all religious duties. And he has found, what has he found, do you think? Krishna, bhakti. Bhakti yoga. This is the culmination of all these processes. And the means by which we perform bhakti yoga is exactly what we've just been doing, right? Yes? Yeah. Out of his causeless compassion, the Supreme Lord has incarnated in this yuga as his holy name, thus making himself available to the jivas. Thus the holy name is accepted by the pious jivas as the best means of perfection. The scriptures recommend the Lord's name as the most efficacious means to obtain the absolute, but the jivas misunderstand this to mean that chanting is one of the shubha karmas, one of the things we were just discussing. But that's on the mundane level, shubha karma, these practices, yes. It's not. This misconception is similar to Lord Vishnu being seen as another demigod, like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. He's not. They're different, yes. Vishnu is transcendental, yes. The holy name is fully spiritual and transcendental to material nature. It is untainted by matter. Although the jiva is spiritual, he thinks himself material due to his gross ignorance. Consequently, he thinks that everything, including the holy name of Krishna, is the same, material. But the chanting of Lord Krishna's holy name can be categorized as shubha karma, came to be categorized as shubha karma jivas with mayavadi leanings. They are convinced that this is right and proper. Mayavadi is impersonalism, yes? You all know that. But those who adhere to this view are excluded from devotional service. The holy name is the repository of perfect bliss, and it has descended to this material world to become the means by which the summum bonum, the goal, the actual topmost level of bhakti yoga is obtained through this chanting. And the scriptures eulogize his divine glories, for Krishna's name is both the means and the end. According to the individual jiva's degree of spiritual perfection, he considers the name to be either the means or the end. As long as he has not attained self-realization, he considers the holy name as the means to reach the goal. So, just a little bit of that. Because it's a very nice book if you want to read about, in depth about chanting. It's a conversation between Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya. And this is actually Haridas Thakur is relating all this to Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself. Yeah? So it's a very nice conversation about chanting and the offences against chanting. Because if we are chanting, we have to be very careful. We should understand the offences that we may think or in chanting, or may produce by inadvertently, mostly in the beginning stages. But as we progress, we need to be aware of these things, right? Very much. So anyway, it's a nice book, just a little bit about chanting. That it is, chanting the holy names is the perfection of yoga, yeah? So let's not take this to be a mundane thing. It isn't. It's a very, very transcendental process. So thank you for doing it. Thank you for joining in. And I'm worn out now. So I'm going to hand over to His Grace Premaniketan. Prabhu, give us a nice class. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Munja Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Radha Madhava Munja Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Radha Munja Bihari Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. It's a very auspicious day, isn't it? Very auspicious week. So Janmashtami celebration generally begins from the appearance day of Lord Balaram. So we recently celebrated Lord Balaram's appearance day. But if we are in Braj, Vrindavan, Dham, Mathura, Gokul, Nandagaon, Barsana, the celebration, the preparation begins about at least 2 or 3 months in advance. And at least a week before, the crowd we get in Vrindavan, that if you don't enter before a week, they block all the roads and everything. You can't enter. You have to walk really miles and miles to get in. And the celebration is unimaginable. Something we probably, unless we go there and witness, we possibly never understand how and what and why they celebrate like this. From outside, it may appear crazy, but there it's very normal. Yeah, because that's how Krishna was. If you read the pastimes of Krishna, it appears that how could God behave and act like the way he did? He assumed the form of a baby and child, and he grew up amongst the cowherd boys and girls. How could God be like that? And no wonder that we get bewildered, because Brahma himself got bewildered. Indra himself got bewildered. Even Lord Shiva himself got bewildered. Until Lord Shiva has transformed himself into Gopeshwar Mahadev. He wasn't allowed to enter the pastimes of Krishna. Even though he lived in Vrindavan since Krishna was born, yeah, on the 6th day, when Lord Krishna was born, Lord Shiva went to have darshan of Krishna. And the way Lord Shiva was dressed and all of that, seeing his appearance and attire, all the gopis, these damsels of Braja, and also Yashoda Mai herself, they became fearful who this personality is, because they did not know who Lord Shiva was. And he came as straight away from Kailash. He was meditating, he heard the news, and he just came. He was smeared in the ashes, and he had snakes around his neck. Scorpions were his what they call it? Earrings or whatever. Yeah, like that. And he had a huge jata on his head. He appeared. He said, no, you can't hand over Krishna to you. So he has to demonstrate that he's a normal person, he's melodious. Then Krishna has to grant him access, because when he started to leave, Krishna cried. When he came back, Krishna cried, because he wants to please his devotee. And that's the sole purpose of Krishna's coming to this world, is to please his devotees. Yeah? Sole purpose. Sole purpose. Coming is to please. That's why he appeared. He came to please us, to give access to his name, as Mukunda was saying earlier. To give access to his name. to give access to his pastimes, give access to all of you devotees, because without all of you, I wouldn't be here. Definitely, so it's all intertwined, connected. So it's very important. Krishna appeared. But once I was hearing to Srila Prabhupada's Katha class, and he said that for each devotee, Krishna appears individually. That the way that sparkle comes into our brain, the day we accept Krishna as God, and beyond that, the way we accept Krishna as basically one of us. He's one of mine. I'm his and he's mine. That day Krishna appears in our hearts. The day we start chanting his name sincerely, the day Krishna appears to us. So Krishna's appearance for all of us may vary. Yes, we celebrate the way Krishna descended to this earth. But there is no place where Krishna is not there. Yeah? There is no place. Krishna is not there. Krishna is there everywhere. Even I'm sitting on Krishna. I'm speaking. That's without Krishna, nothing can exist. Krishna has facilitated himself in such a way. Yeah? Everything is Krishna. So the way we start seeing Krishna everywhere, the day Krishna appeared for me, for us. So there are many ways Krishna appears. The more and more realization we get of Krishna, Krishna appears to us that day. The day we start kind of valuing each other's association, Krishna's devotees association, that day Krishna appeared between us. That day when we kind of meet together and instead of talking gossip of the worldly affairs, and instead of that we start talking about Krishna. Krishna appeared between our relationships. Yeah? The day Krishna becomes center of our house, the day Krishna becomes center of our every activity, that day Krishna appears. There are many appearances of Krishna. And we should celebrate each moment, each day, as a treat. So we read Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I read that 5 years ago, or 2 months ago. I'm reading the same verse again. And that moment comes, isn't it? Now I understand what Krishna is trying to say here. That day Krishna appeared for us. So we read for our own purification. Not to remember the verse and tell someone, see, I remember. I'm a jnani, I have knowledge. I'm an intelligent person, I remember the whole of Bhagavad Gita, every single shloka. Will Krishna be pleased by that? There are many kind of karmis who remember the whole book, whole chapter, everything. There is no greatness in remembering the whole of Bhagavatam and the whole of Gita when we don't see the purpose behind Krishna's book, Bhagavad Gita. That has to be revealed. And that comes Prapadyante, surrenderance. Yeah? When we read Bhagavad Gita, we should surrender like Arjuna did. Sadhimam prapannam. I'm your servant. I'm your disciple, instructor. That's when Gita starts revealing itself to us. Then each word when we read of Gita, we see the magnanimity of Krishna through each word of Gita. But Krishna spoke. Can you imagine? We sometimes take it too lightly, isn't it? But Krishna spoke Gita. And Krishna did not begin to speak until Arjuna accepted himself as a disciple of Krishna, as servant of Krishna. Because till that point, Arjuna was treating Krishna as a friend. But he took that position, Sadhimam Prapanna. Let me surrender. This is the opportunity. Hopefully, we have this kind of vision in our heart, in our brain. Let's utilize every moment. Let's utilize every opportunity to invoke Krishna within our hearts and celebrate Janmashtami of Krishna's appearance within our hearts every single moment. There are sadhus and devotees of Krishna. Yes, they celebrate Janmashtami, but they will not come out from their sadhanas and their chanting, because for them, that's the appearance of Krishna. If you go to Vrindavan, you won't see those sadhus there. Yeah, they won't come out on the streets. Because Krishna, once you've realized He's there, that's it. That's it. On the day of Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada would read Krishna book hours and hours. There's pastime with Krishna. And the Srila Prabhupada started reading Krishna book, I think 5 or 6 p.m. and he went on until midnight and post-midnight, reading Krishna's appearance today and after that and after that. And devotee was thinking, now it's going to be Kirtan, now it's going to be celebration, now it's going to be chanting and dancing and feasting. They were waiting for feast. They fasted all day. And here Srila Prabhupada sat on his Vyasasana, erect posture, asking his disciples to continue reading Krishna book. He wrote Krishna book, but Srila Prabhupada, he was enjoying every syllable of pastimes of Krishna coming out from Krishna book. It was for devotees that Srila Prabhupada made kind of very elaborate preparations and everything. But once Srila Prabhupada was living in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, he would be secluded. He wouldn't go out much, have darshan of Krishna, and back into his room and immerse in chanting and writing. For him, that was a celebration of Janmashtami. Hopefully one day we get that kind of taste. 6 hours, 7 hours reading Krishna book. Yeah. So today I will talk a bit about historical side of appearance day of Krishna, because I'm sure tomorrow Mukunda Prabhu from Favisham, he will be talking, so I will not steal his thunder. But what happened before the appearance of Krishna, and particularly who were those 6 older brothers of Krishna, because before Krishna appeared, Kamsa killed 6 of his older brothers. And sometimes we feel very bad that Kamsa killed them, isn't it? But once we put things in perspective, then we don't feel that bad. And that's what happens in life, isn't it? We react and react and react, we fail to respond. So the seed of those six of Krishna's brothers were planted way, way back. Way, way back. So Brahma, I hope everyone knows who Brahma is. Yeah? So Brahma had many sons and daughters. One of his Manaks, Miss Manas Putra, because all of his sons and daughters were born from his mind. Unlike mortal us, we have to do some process in order for children to come, take birth. So Manasa Putra, they were. And one of the sons of Brahma was Marichi. Yeah? So Marichi was saint, but he was celestial saint. So he was one of the Prajapatis. So Prajapatis are, so when Brahma, he received order from Lord Krishna that now you need to procreate and fill the world with people, the living beings. So he created Prajapatis. Prajapatis, like Lord Shiva is also one of the Prajapatis. Like Daksha, he was also Prajapati. So was Marichi. So he had 6 sons. 6 sons. And they were very austere, definitely. And they had lots of tapasya, they had a lot of power. But there is another pastimes on the side where Brahma, he got bewildered once. Kama, lust, is so powerful that the devotees are the people who we think that they have really conquered it. But Maya is so powerful. Yeah, if we, the moment we think that, I've conquered something, I'm so powerful, I'm a yogi, I can sit on one asana for 6 hours and I can read Bhagavad Gita or Krishna book for 6 hours. Maya will come to haunt. Maya is very powerful. And that's what happened. He got bewildered and he was chasing his own daughter in that madness. And these sons of Marichi, so that's a very long pastime. I think I'll probably, maybe sometime in the future, I will talk about that past and that why that happened. Because we start committing offense when we start thinking that, oh, Brahma, how come he did that, and chasing his own daughter and things like that. Yeah. So please, I beg, do not commit offense, because he's one of the greatest devotees Krishna has entrusted the responsibility to create this world and fill people with, and he lives trillions of years. Yeah. So he's a very, very great devotee of Krishna. We should never make a mistake and commit offense. Yeah. So the 6 sons of Marichi, seeing that state of Brahma, they laughed at him. As we all may do, if put in the same situation. Yeah? We may all laugh and gossip and it's the great lesson not to do that. Because we don't know what kind of karma from the past life, in this life they are experiencing, and they're going through the tasting time and tribulations, isn't it? We should never ever gossip. We should never ever talk about someone else's, what they're going through. We should never. Always have compassion. Always have compassion. Don't get bewildered. So seeing that they were laughing, when Brahma came to senses, he saw them and he cursed them. That you are heavenly people. Yes, I was mad and bewildered. And after this incident, Brahma, he committed suicide and disappeared. And then the next Brahma came. But by the time that happened, he cursed these 6 boys of Prajapati, sons of Prajapati, that you're unfit to be celestial beings. We should become demons. Yeah? So then the next life, fast forward, who has heard the name of Hiranyakashipu? More or less everyone here. Hiranyakashipu. Lord Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu. So in the era of Hiranyakashipu, there was a commander-in-chief of Hiranyakashipu. Who was that? Kala Nemi. Who has heard the name of Kala Nemi? Yeah. Can you tell who was Kala Nemi?
I heard the name.
Yeah,
I
go on.
don't remember the story.
You probably know something about Kala Nemi. That's in Ramayana. Yeah. I'll talk about that Ramayana pastime as well, because that's a part of the whole thing. So Kala Nemi was commander-in-chief, and he was a demon. So he was commander-in-chief of Hiranyakashipu. Now those 6 sons, they were born as sons of Kala Nemi in this life. So even though they were cursed to become demons, but they still has kind of tendency to perform austerity, tapasya, yogi, and all of that. So while the Hiranyakashipu was contemplating and planning to do tapasya, to please Brahma, to gain more power so he becomes immortal, the 6 sons of Kalanemi, they also were planning to do the same. So they can also become immortal and they become powerful. And once something like this happens, you buy a fantastic car. What's the best car in the world? Ferrari? Maserati? Is it Maserati? Maybe any other car?
Bentley.
Bentley, yes, Bentley. Okay? You buy, it's a unique, no one has in my town. You bring it home, and your next door neighbor, who wants less than you, he has a smaller house. That's the Kalanemi. Kalanemi was commander-in-chief. And Hiranyakashipu was considering himself as a god. He was challenging Lord Vishnu. Yeah? He earns less than me. And he bought Maserati car. I bought. And he got a better version of Maserati car. Oh my goodness. What happens there then? Huh?
What's gone wrong?
Yeah, envy kicks in, isn't it? Jealousy. And that's what happened to Hiranyakashipu. So he was demon, and that's what Krishna explains in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, demoniac qualities. Yeah? They have envy, they have hatred. How dare? Ahankara, Vimulatma. They develop ahankara, ego. Hit him hard. So he cursed them again. That in the next life, you 6 of you who will be killed by your own father, will be killed by your own father. And the Kalanemi then he goes on to live from the time of Satyayug, because this happened in Satyayug, to no Dwapar, Treta Yuga. The way it happened that in this 4 Yuga, Treta Yuga came first. So Treta Yuga, when Hanuman ji, yeah? Satyayug? So generally what happens, Satyayug, Dwapar, Treta and Kali Yuga.
Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali Yuga. Yeah.
No, but generally what happens is Satyayug, Dwapar 2, Treta 3 and then Kali Yuga.
Okay.
That's how it happens. But due to very special devotee, in these 4 yugas, the Treta Yuga came first. Just by a devotee, Krishna switched the yugas and Lord Ram came first and then came Krishna. We'll talk about that pastimes maybe in the future. There are a lot of pastimes.
Too much to take in.
Tra is 3.
Yeah, Tra is 3.
Dwa is 2.
That's one
Sanskrit.
Dwa is
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Hanuman, when he went to get Sanjeevani, this immortal herb from Himalayas, the Kalanemi tries to distract him. So he was demon, and Ravana sent him to go and distract Hanuman, so he couldn't get the immortal herb. And Hanumanji is extremely intelligent personality. He had a special power by Ram. He recognized that this is not a sadhu, because he described that Kalanemi disguised himself as sadhu and tried to say, why don't you sit here, have some prasad, have some food, and then you go. Long story there. We'll talk sometime in the future. So Hanumanji recognized, and he gave him just one punch, and Kalanemi died there. Fast forward in Dwapar Yuga. So Kalanemi was reborn as Kamsa. Kamsa was the maternal uncle of Krishna, maternal uncle of Krishna. And what happens to those 6 sons of Kalanemi? They were born as sons of Devaki and Vasudeva. Now you may kind of say that Hiranyakashipu cursed those 6 sons of Kalanemi to be killed by their father in the next life. And here, the father of those 6 sons were Vasudeva and Devaki, not Kamsa. But when you see from the point of view of higher kind of perspective, the Kalanemi, means Kamsa, was still considered to be their father. To be their father. Yeah? Because they were seeing things from a different perspective. We see this life. Yeah? But you and I and everyone sitting here had millions and trillions of parents. If they all come here and you got current parents sitting there, who would you cry for? You would be completely bewildered. Who is my father? Hello? I have trillions of father. There's one frog father. There's one pig father. There's one dog father. You get bewildered by that, isn't it? So they are saying from that perspective, I cursed, this became this. Yeah? Bewildering, isn't it? Keep reading, Katie. No, she's reading a lot of Shastras these days. So she has a lot of knowledge. She has a lot of knowledge. So those 6 sons are representative of what? The 6 anarthas that we have in our hearts. 6 anarthas. Unless we kill them bit by bit, Krishna's appearance in our heart will remain elusive. And what are those 6 anarthas? Kama, lust. Yeah? Lust is a tendency or desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. That's a real lust. Yeah, that's a real lust. There's a gross and there's subtle. For materialistic people, the gross, they're engaged in that, and for them it's very difficult to come out. But for devotees who are trying to become devotee of Krishna, trying to please Him, for us, the adoration, the profit, thinking that I'm better than anyone else sitting here. Because I'm sitting here giving class, I may think that I have better knowledge. And I have better bhakti by knowledge. Knowledge and bhakti doesn't equate. I may come and sit here and speak very eloquently, yeah, as a knower of Shastra. But if I don't have a drop of love in my heart for Krishna, I'm absolutely useless. Whatever I'm speaking, it touched by a serpent and is poisonous. That's the example Srila Prabhupada used to give. So not to think that, give kind of my own example, sitting here, I'm talking and I'm a better devotee. Absolutely not. Unless there is transformation happening within my heart, I'm absolutely useless. Only by mercy of Guru, devotees like yourself and Krishna. That's the only possibility. That's only hope we all have. That's only hope. So that's a kama, that's a lust. The next one is kama, krodha. Kama, krodha. Krodh. Dare someone touch my little hair on the body? They look at you as if, oof. Why you get krodha? Why you get anger? Massive ego, isn't it? Yeah? Because krodha is connected to lobha, greed. When you're greedy, that's the next one, yeah? Kama, krodha, lobha. When you are greedy, what happens? want to acquire more and more. There is no limit. There is no limit how much you want to acquire. And you don't know what to do with, whatever you got. You fail to enjoy in the pursuit of acquiring more and more and more. And by the time you come to realize that, I should enjoy now, already 80, 90 years old, and job is done. Now you can't walk, no teeth in the mouth, we got dentures, sorry, no one is hearing aid, everything comes into play. Our body is not fit to enjoy what we have been accumulating and acquiring more. Yes, that's true. That's true. I'm the victim of that. I think we all have little kind of greed in our hearts. Little greed. That may be for money, that may be for family, that may be for country, society, world, universe. We have expanded greed. My country should have this, my country should have that, isn't it? It's not just mine, but my expanded mind. Then what comes?
Moha.
Moha. What is moha? Attachment. Attachment. Materialistic attachment. Materialistic attachment. We are so attached. Not just to things we have, but our own opinions I'm attached to. Yeah? I think that's the biggest problem, isn't it? And that can be dangerous when someone is in mode of goodness. Yeah? So they're not attached to, there's a chair or mic and stuff. They're attached to their opinions. Yeah? That becomes a bondage for people who are in mode of goodness because they are altruistic. They open schools and hospitals and they do good deeds and stuff and they become attached to. And they want to be praised for their act. That's a profit and adoration. Adoration is very subtle killer of bhakti. I've done something, I want my name to be put on a golden plate. Dr. Praful Shukla, somewhere, I've donated somewhere, I want my name to be put in the bold letters. I'm such a great personality, isn't it? We want to sing our own glory. Most of the time. Then what comes next? Mother. Mother. What is mother?
You just lost it.
Madness. Ego. Madness. Ego. We all have experience of that. In day-to-day life, every single day. But, coming here, that's a proof that we are pushing boundaries of our ego, bit by bit. We have to. Otherwise, we can't.
Is mother something like you feel superior if you have something?
Exactly.
And then the rest of the
Yeah. What's the last one? Matsarya. See, he's all knowledgeable. Matsarya. What is Matsarya? Envy. Envy is Matsarya. Yeah, we give example of that. Competing. Yeah. Envy. And the person we are envying, that person doesn't know even. But we're sitting in our houses, in our rooms, and envying people. They wouldn't have no knowledge about you envy. They're just getting by their life and you're sitting there and burning your heart, bucket of blood, thinking about how dare and I become in fear. I should go and throw a stone on their cars and buildings and crack their glasses and that's what they need. So until Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj recently, I went to attend his class. That's where I got this idea of 6 narthas, how they impede appearance of Krishna within our hearts. So we should really make attempt. And when we start paying attention, we acknowledge these envy and anarthas and kama and krodha, lust, anger, greed, envy, ego. We start recognizing them. There's one head of Ravana has come. With the arrow of Harinam Kirtan, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to shoot them down. Yeah? Whenever we see, we start kind of recognizing these anarthas in our hearts. That's when real bhakti begins really. Yeah? that we start recognizing, I'm so egotistic today. I'm feeling so jealous because of someone got better post than me. Yeah? We start recognizing, so you may still feel burning, but at least we have acknowledged it. Once we acknowledge, then start giving medicine, to cure it. Until we acknowledge it's happening within us and that destroying our bhakti lata bij, the creeper of bhakti, the process of purification, cheto darpana marjanam, and the purification of consciousness of our soul wouldn't even start. Just like, the honey, the jar of honey, lid is very tight and we're licking the jar from outside. Bhakti is like that. The bhakti is inside, Krishna is there. What we have to do, Om Ajnanati Mirantatse Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Mulitam Yena Tasmaya Shri Guru Vedam. We need to find a guru. Who will help us, who will tell us, open the jar. By licking the outside, it's just going to temple and doing arati and drama that we've been doing for, God knows how many lifetimes. Would it help? Open the jar, chant, lick the real honey, and enjoy the bliss of Krishna's and his devotees' association. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Any questions? Any comments?
What is the difference between being religious and being spiritual?
The religious is a lot of paraphernalia involved. Just like most Hindus, we wake up in the morning, we take shower, we do arati and all of that. But heart is not there. Yeah? We don't see. So we all may have paintings of Krishna in our altar. But when we do that, we don't see Krishna there. We just see a painting just 3-4 times and gone. Yeah? That becomes a ritual. That's a ritual. That's without heart. Spiritual is slightly different. You start understanding that why are you doing this? You start asking questions. Why am I doing this? Why am I? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. We start jigyasu. Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I in this world? Why am I suffering? What's the purpose of my life, isn't it? Who am I? That's the first question Brahma asked. Who am I? And Krishna said, Tapa, austerity. Do austerity, you'll know that who you are. Yeah? We have to open the lid. Licking the jar, not knowing the taste, doing the arati. Yeah?
It's like a robot is doing
something. Just like robot. That becomes ritual. What Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we should perform religious duties, we should do these activities, but at the same time, we should ask these inquiries. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, we should be inquiring about who am I? What's the purpose of my life? Is my purpose of my life is to just be born, be married, have children, work like donkeys for a carrot, and one day you grow old, by the time you realize you're dead. Finish. Is that what the life we want to live? As a human, that's a suicide. So for that, people die today or die hundreds years later, it doesn't matter. For a devotee, once we become Krishna conscious, we die today or die 50 years later, does not matter. You become fearless. They live in fear. I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. The devotees, they have no fear because they know na hanyate hanya mane sharir. This body dies, soul, Atman, is eternal. It doesn't matter on die today or die 10 years later. Only purpose the devotees, once they have self-realized, they want to live, and that's what Srila Prabhupada said. If you listen to what Srila Prabhupada said, that I want to live a bit longer so I can preach more. That's the sole purpose why devotees, they want to live, so they can give this boon of Krishna consciousness to others. The only purpose. Only purpose. There is no other purpose to continue living. You live in this body, live in some other body. Purpose of devotees to serve. They serve here, they serve in Vaikuntha. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj asked. I do not want to have liberation, Krishna. I just want to serve. I should be the last person to come to you. I want to serve. And that's what devotees do. The sole purpose, we want to live longer so we can serve each other and the larger humanity. That's the only purpose. And you will come to realize, yes, that the fear, once we have advanced in Krishna consciousness a bit more, the fear goes from the heart. We don't fear for old age, disease and death. Absolutely not. The part of karma, it will come. Let it be. Don't get bewildered. Don't worry too much about it. It's a part of that's going to happen. Process. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the question. Let's do a bit of chanting and dancing. Last question.
She must be having a list of questions.
Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Priya
सत्यनाम अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद हमारे वैष्णव दास ठाकुर जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद गंगा माई की जय गंगा माई वृंदावन धाम की जय जगन्नाथ की धाम की जय माया धाम की जय all glories number devotee all glories number devotee all glories all glories all glories all glories to Shri Guru Shri Guru Hare Krishna